So, quick paint thing that a lot of people don't realize. Paint sheen is not just cosmetic. It affects durability, wear, and how your paint ages over time. Gloss, satin, matte or flat, eggshell, low sheen, those aren't just shiny or less shiny. They're actually different surface structures. Gloss paints, for example, tend to self-level into a smooth, tight film. It makes them more durable, more resistant to handling, and way easier to clean. So quick pro tip, always paint your bathroom or your kitchen in a gloss or a semi-gloss sheen. It's going to make those walls easier to clean if they ever get dirty, which they tend to. Satin is kind of the middle ground between gloss, semi-gloss, and matte or flat. Matte or flat coatings add flattening agents to their paint. And what that does is it breaks up the surface of the coating itself so light doesn't reflect off of it. Now, this is great to hide imperfections. However, they're going to scuff or burnish more easily, and that coating is going to wear down faster over time. So in the sense of like a miniature, for example, this is going to wear down more easily. And if it's something that you're putting on the table, you definitely need to make sure you're putting a varnish over the top of it because you're going to scratch it, you're going to rub it off. If you try to clean it, you're going to wipe the paint right off. And the same thing goes for like a wall in your house. Flat paints are going to like grab onto all the dirt, the grime, fingerprints, anything else that could potentially stick to your coating. And then when you try to wipe it off, because the surface tension is already broken up in that paint because there's no gloss barrier there, it's going to rub off when you try to scrub it. It's pretty much just going to break down completely immediately. So yes, a flat paint is going to be less expensive out the gate to purchase, whether it's for a miniature or whether it is for your wall in your home. However, these satin, semi-gloss, and gloss coatings are going to last a lot longer, be easier to clean, and it's going to save you money over time because you're not going to need to repaint it. Matte or flat paint aren't weaker just because they're cheaper. They're weaker because the surface tension is broken up by that flattening agent to make it not reflect light. And this is why you see it in a lot of new build homes, because it's going to keep your eye from being trained to look at imperfections in the build. Dead flat finishes should never be used in an area where durability really matters. So miniature paints, most of them are acrylics, but they're not made similarly to house paints, even though they're the same type of paint. House paints, for example, are engineered to be able to handle UV exposure, moisture exposure, and years of wear. Mini paints, for example, are optimized for control, pigment, and finish. What they are not designed for is long-term UV exposure or light resistance, long-term moisture resistance, and wear and tear. A varnish on top of your miniatures will absolutely help with the durability when it comes to handling, especially a gloss or a satin semi-gloss finish on those. However, what it is not going to do, it is not going to extend the UV resistance of the pigments in your miniature paint from long-term UV or light exposure. Matte or flat finishes especially wear down faster because they're going to leave more pigment exposed at the surface of the paint. This is going to cause them to fade or chalk out a lot faster over time. So if you leave your minis in a display case, especially if the lighting is UV or daylight settings, which a lot of us would use for pictures in order to showcase the true colors, see my video on metamerism, okay, and how it affects the look of the models. But if you keep those in a display case, make sure you're not leaving the light on 24/7, 365. And if your minis are in a room with a lot of constant light, close the blinds, close the curtains, and don't leave them continuously exposed because they're going to wear down really fast and your colors aren't going to look as great. All paint lasts a lot longer when it's not constantly being blasted by light 24/7. So remember, paint sheen isn't just looks, it's performance, and it's very important. Following the steps and the recommendations in this video is going to help prolong the paint, whether it's on your house, whether it's on a wall, or whether it's on a miniature, and it's going to help you keep long-lasting, true, beautiful color for a lot longer. Thank you so much for watching. Hope this helps.